I'm Pearlman-Shaw. I'm a clinical psychologist by background, and that's how I got involved with Leeds Jewish Housing Association. And I have a very long history. I joined as a trustee in the early 90s and was on the board for almost 30 years, and I stepped down as chair after 5 years as chair in 2019. So shortly after I qualified as being a clinical psychologist, Sheila Saunders gave me that telephone call that everybody gets, which says, would you like to do something for the community? And it's just four meetings a year, and what we want you to do is come and help us assess people for Stone Court, which is the new building that we're building for people, supported people with mental health problems. And of course, when Sheila Saunders would say, come on the board and just come for 4 meetings a year, actually it was always a lot more than that, and that began my association with the Housing Association. So Stone Court was a building that we built in 1993, I think, for people with mental health problems, and it was to offer them support. And because around the time at that time, it's going to seem really difficult to comprehend now, but many people with serious mental health problems had been in long-term mental health facilities, and there was a move to supporting people in the community. So there was plenty of money around to build buildings to help people to live independently in the community, and we bid for some of that money and won it, and built a facility. I think it was for 12 people with mental health problems, and that facility lasted for a long time until the government changed the funding. I think that's how it worked out in the end. But now we've repurposed that building, and it's now general needs, I understand. In those days, yes. So everybody in the 90s and early noughties, everybody we assessed was Jewish. It's been later on that there have been some non-Jewish people, which is partly to do with how the council assess and the points that people get, and the need for diversity, which personally I think is a good thing. I'm pleased to say it's got more and more modern. I had to think about windows. Janet Stowe and I, we were two of the only female board members actually. We had a big thing in the 1990s, for example, about the shape of windows. So in the early 90s, planning rules were that you could only have very small windows, which we all thought was terrible. We both thought was terrible for people's mental health. We know so much now. I'm actually a neuroscience psychologist by background, and we know so much about the impact of light and being able to see the sky and trees. And so just being able to have lovely big windows. I've heard so many people, I was here at the party a few weeks ago, and there were so many people talking about this is a place where they feel safe because they're within the community. And for Leeds Jewish community, I think, where our Jewish amenities are all in this part of the city, it's such an expensive part of the city to live in that without the housing association, how would people be able to be part of the community? So I think there's 2 community issues going on here. One is that people can be closer to the community facilities, but also that the estates that we have, particularly clustered around the Queenshill sites, provide a community. And I'm mindful when I say that about Burton House and Green Park and Bentcliffe Lane, because I've always had concerns that as the sites here developed more and more, that it would feel that people were slightly further away in those other sites. While I was involved, it was hard to build family housing, partly because we have to build on the basis of need. So for example, when we put the plans in for Cherry Tree and Hillside, there were 82 older people on the waiting list, so that quantifies the need. But at that time, when we were deciding where to put the resources, there were only, I think, under 10, maybe even under 5 families on the waiting list. So it's hard to quantify need if people aren't on the waiting list. I understand now it's a different proposition, but we badly need family housing now. We've invested so much in such beautiful stock for the older people's village. I'd really like to see such provision for our families as well, especially in this day and age of austerity. Well, I'm really hoping that the present for the 70th birthday for Leeds Jewish Housing Association is a pot of money that allows you to build on the island and build the family homes that are so badly needed. So I hope it looks as good as the whole older people's village does over here, to such a high standard, such a high spec. Gardens beautifully done. I've just been admiring the gardens here at Stonegate Way. So I hope it's as easy on the eye and as livable in that I'm hearing that people, certainly in Cherry Tree, are saying, and here at Stonegate Way are saying that it is to live here. So that's what I'm hoping for, really good quality homes that meet the needs of tenants, that look good and make people feel good about their environment. Happy birthday, Leeds Jewish Housing Association. I hope you go from strength to strength.